The transfer market is on its backside and it is very, very low right now. So in this video, we're going to go over the best investments that you guys can make to help you make coins in this sort of big market drop. There are plenty of players that you guys can find. We're going to show you how to find them, think about the ways that you do want to invest in them and the ways you don't want to invest in them, and go from there basically. So I'll see you soon. Everything you see in these videos is on foottrading.co.uk. The buying and selling prices for every card on this game. We cover every card type. We make sure you make millions. It supports our content, but it also means you will never need to spend a single penny on EA Sports points ever again. Don't rely upon their pack rate and all that stuff. Learn to trade. We will teach you how to trade whilst also helping you along the way. We've got mods, we've got traders, we've got me and Dan, everyone to help you on this journey. You'll make millions of coins. You'll be able to enter the monthly tournaments, and I guarantee you it will change the way you play EA Sports FC. Check out the website, but for now, we'll get into the video. Alright, welcome to the video guys. I'm Fuzzball40. I'm here to help you make millions of coins on this game. That is the whole point of this channel. So if you're new around here, make sure you subscribe down below, click the like button and comment. If you do comment, I'll comment back to every single person. I'll be live directly after this video. The link will be down below. So if you want to come over to Twitch and join the community, I'll help you do exactly what I'm about to show you in this video. But Centurions has crashed the market like nothing before. And last year we saw a similar thing. Anytime the icons were in promos, it just created havoc in the market. So it has dropped so far. So cards like, I don't know, we'll go Theo Hernandez for example. This card was not, I wouldn't say unattainable to most people, but it was very like expensive for the majority of people to afford. People like him are very low right now, and we've not seen him this low for pretty much the whole year. So I think there's a good chance to buy. So if you guys are on the website, it's going to be done for you. This is last week's Sunday Flips list. Every single thing went up in price, except for Grace Guerrero and Di Lorenzo. But actually, Grace Guerrero did bounce once we realised she was going to be in packs. So the only one that was a bit meh was Di Lorenzo. Every card in this list made you very good profit. So if you're on the website, this will be updated again today. There'll be loads of players on there for you guys to go and buy with the buy prices. Most important thing to think about when it comes to buying these flips, if you haven't got the website, is where do you want to avoid? Where should you put your coins, okay? Now, the big problem you've got in the game at the moment is it was a perfect storm. You had Centurions coming out with all the pack supply, the icons, all of that stuff. And then you had two fantastic evolutions in the box-to-box midfielder and the left wing, I think it's sharpshooter. Centurion sharpshooter, I think it's called. But the left wing evolution, okay? So for that reason, left wings are taking an absolute pummeling. And I would just be a little bit careful of cards that can play left wing basically stinging you a little bit. So we'll look at Rodrigo as an example, okay? So we go to his hourlies. On Friday, by 4 o'clock, he was 39k. He is now down at 28k. So he's lost basically a quarter of his value. It's just gone. Absolutely wiped off the market. Now, this doesn't mean that left wingers aren't going to rise in value. It just means that you've got to be a bit more careful. Where you might find some good ability to get some coins is probably going to be in the higher end. Now, I know some of you guys are low budget, so we'll talk about the things you guys can do as well. But in the higher end, someone like Heung-min Son, now admittedly, part of the reason why he was so high was because he was out of packs with his card, right? So that's why he got so high. And he's dipped off, but he has dipped off beyond anything that we thought we'd see. The last time he did this, he got down to 69k and bounced back to 90, about 99, I think, by the end of it. So he has dipped off quite heavily. Now, the left wing evolution does give you some very good players, but all of them have their flaws and their faults, and some people ain't going to want to do that SBC, that objective. So someone like Heung-min Son could be very good. Now, when we think about a buy price, we look at his graph and we see where his low is, and his low's been about there at 674. So right now he's 77. What happens now is people open up less packs. Centurions, most people have used up whatever sort of coins they want to use up. They've used up whatever FIFA points they want to use up. So people start to open less packs, and Weekend League awards end, Division Rival awards end, and these cards just slowly start rising up. And I think I might risk buying a few Heung-min Sons. I'm going to show you the two cards that I bought already for you guys so you can see what we've done. But where else is there value then? If we're not looking at left wings, and we're probably not looking at centre midfielders, I like the look of some of these centre backs. Now, the rise in centre backs is never going to be the level it's going to be for other cards. But again, if we look at someone like Varane, Premier League centre mid, he's not really had a reason to be affected by the price, because there's no real, other than Blanc, who was already out when all this happened, there's no real reason for him to have dipped off. And you can see he dipped to 68, then he bounced back again to 73, and he's dipped since then. And again, he's got to his low of about 60,000 coins. He's now at 62,000 coins. If there's a slight bounce back, to me that shows signs of recovery. I wouldn't be stressing too much and being like, oh, hang on, they're back up, gone on the way up again. I think that does show a sign of recovery. So centre backs to me, a lot of them are probably going to make it into people's teams still, and so I'd be looking at those. Araujo was a card that I bought last week, and I made about 4k a card on him. Now, he is down tremendous amounts, 47k there at high, and he just steadily came down. Again, we saw the same thing, this little drop, then the bounce back. Forget this line, it's an anomaly. You care about this line here, really, just straight across. And as you can see, down to 31, up to 33, and he's in and around that 32, 33 mark right now. Again, a little sign of recovery there. So with these cards, the low that you saw, you want to be getting them at that, and ideally a little bit below that on snipes if you possibly can. I think it's going to help you massively. If you're low budget, it's really, really easy for you guys. All you need to do is buy the cards that are very, very cheap with hunters and shadows on them. So if you're looking at any moderately meta card, it hasn't got to be anyone incredible. You just want to get them with hunters. So if you've got Colin Mawani at 2.5, ideally snipe slightly below that with the hunter. That will cover off all of your risk, because the hunter's worth 500, 600, 700 coins minimum per card. You've got the likes of Leroy Sané, again, card that I've talked about all year. This card, he is so good to sell with hunters on him. He is so good. 1,900, okay, updated 2 hours ago. Footwiz is a bit slow at the moment. Again, he always bounces with a hunter. So if you can get these cards, these sort of cards with hunters on them, they're going to do really, really well. One card that you could risk is the RB, and we've talked about him so many times this year. But I showed him yesterday on the stream, and it was 16k, and people said, should I buy? And I said, no, let him drop a little bit further, because he was going to. And again, if we look at his hourlies, he has just steadily dropped off. But here again, we saw those green shoots of rebound from here before getting back down low again. And as you can see, the RB's now sat pretty much at his low. Now, every time we thought this card was killed off, he has bounced back. Every single time. This is the first time we haven't really seen it bounce back. Now, when he's had the amount he's had wiped up his value, he's 24k down to what, 15k now. That's nearly halved in value. I do think there is some potential in him to rise. Now, again, you've got to be so careful, because his cards are the wingers. There is a risk that don't rise massively. But I probably will jump on a few of these guys when it comes down to buying them, because I just feel like it's a similar situation to that Rodrigo SBC. When the Rodrigo SBC came out, Rodrigo crashed in price, and loads of other cards that met his sort of criteria, being those positions, crashed in price too. But they then did bounce back, because not everybody is going to do that left wing. It's a lot of games to do for that and the box-to-box midfielder, so I think you're going to see some degree of bounce back, okay? So these are the sort of cards you need to be looking at. And then like Kyle Walker here, 89k. Again, probably one of the biggest right backs that everyone uses on this game. Again, Friday 114, and he's now sitting at 89k, which is nothing for this card in terms of where he was anyway. Someone like him could do relatively well in the bounce back. He could do relatively well. Normally what I would do is I go and put him into 20, 30, 40k cards, because my return is usually higher. But there's a risk with those 20, 30, 40k cards at the moment, and I would be very, very careful with the fact they keep dropping off. So I've made some losses this weekend because I keep buying and thinking that's going to be the low, and it's not the low. So you have to bear that in mind. It's vitally important that you understand it might not be the low. Cards that I bought into so far, I bought them early doors because I was like, why not? I'm selling a few of these guys right now because I want to test the water on Goretzka. But I got some at 9.5k last night. Musiala's, I bought a little bit early on some of these. A lot of them I managed to get cheaper, but the reason I bought Musiala was most 86s are sort of 11 to 12k. Musiala basically has hit that sort of min price or close to, but he isn't really a fodder card. People still use this card. So I bought him with a hunter on him at sort of 12. There's 11.75s there. I think I've got a couple at 11 as well. He's got 5-star skills. There's a chance he bounces back. To me, Musiala might do alright. Do I think he's going to make me tons of coins? Not at all, but I think he can make me at least 1 to 2k per card. If I bought 30 of them, it's 30 to 60k basically, which is a nice bounce back. And then the Goretzkas, right? So we've got some, again, we bought a little bit too early, but as you can see, we've got some of them, we've got at like 11k. He's about 10, 11k with Shadow at the moment. If you wanted to risk Goretzkas at 10 with Shadow, ideally a bit lower than that 9.5, you could potentially do quite well for them, in my opinion. Really for me, this weekend's going to be about recovering the losses that I made, but trying to build on what I'm at the moment to try and lift up my coin total ever so slightly. That's the real aim in all of this now, is to try and really lift the coin total up. I'm trying to get to that 5 million coin mark, where things start to really motor for me. But Goretzka and Musiala are cards that I've bought, and they are risky, but they're low. And Goretzka's out of packs, bear that in mind as well. So that's something to think about. Outside of that, the promo cards, Di Lorenzo's down at 47. Now, he got as low as 44, and again, we're seeing little shoots of recovery in him. Dipped off down to 42, in fact, and he got up again to sort of 47. He dipped back down again to 44, like I said, up at 47. Again, you guys are going to see the market tonight, and if he's got back down to that 44 mark again, there's a potential for you guys to think, right, let me stick a few coins into him, because he might rise. Goretzka himself, I cannot understand how this card is this cheap, but I looked around the other cards in the game that are similar, and what used to happen is people would see an inform and go, oh, he'll be better than whatever card, right? So he'd be better than, I don't know, Valverde because he's an inform, but people don't think like that anymore. And it's also the fact that the box-to-box midfielder came out and it basically gave you an unreal Llorente if you wanted it, has really hurt his price. However, having said that, again, this graph here will show you a sort of rough average price, okay? Now, last night when we were on the game, he was popping at 150 during 6 PM content, when he was getting packed and stuff like that. So there is a chance that he could rise. If he gets down to that mark again, you now know that's sort of his price. So if you really want to take a risk, and in the hopes that once he's stopped being packed so much, he gets up maybe to 170, 180, I'd be interested in that card. That's probably why I'm interested in this Goretzka, though. The gap between the two is monstrous. It is absolutely huge. And so that's why I've got a little bit of interest in this Goretzka card, because I think this might be a temporary drop because of the evolution. He is hella risky. He's incredibly risky, but he has halved in value. Literally halved in value because of that centre mid evolution. And halving in value isn't something cards usually do. It's very rare that happens. So to me, there is the potential there for some coins. And that's why I've looked at him. I am taking a risk, but you never know. We're up, no risk, no reward. Other things to look at. Luis Alberto. Inform. This card, again, I've repeated it, I've said it before, he's basically the same price, or close to the same price as 85 rated informs like Aubameyang. So you get 2 more ratings for the value. Now, I get Aubameyang is more usable, but to a lot of people, he's probably not making their team anymore. So Luis Alberto, if you can get him at 25, I did this on Friday, got him at 25, sold a load at 28. If you can get him at 25 at any point today, maybe a little bit lower if you can, I don't think that's a risky buy at all. I think as a flip for within the next couple of days, I think he's a decent buy. I don't think you're going to have any trouble with him. I'll probably buy 10. Again, if I can make 2-3k cards, another 30k, I'm going to keep trying to just make small profits off of loads of different places to try and build the coin total back up again. But someone like Luis Alberto, I don't think is really much risk at all. And that's why I'd be thinking about putting my coins today. Like I say, if you're on the website, every single buy is going to be on the website for you, so you won't have to worry about that. It's going to be more risky this week because of how the market is, but I do think there's a chance for a very nice rebound into early next week. If you haven't got the site, completely understand it. That's how you find your players. That's the aim of all of this, to show you how to find players. If you're new around here, make sure you subscribe down below. Make sure notifications are turned on so you never miss an upload. But for now, I'm out. Peace out. Speak to you soon.